Who wants to be vulnerable? This is my Finding My Why. This is my first Pecha Kucha. I call it Sawdust and Surfbreaks. So 2019 was real tough. My nephew was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma in 2018. This was just after he rang the bell and we went on his Make-A-Wish trip to Chile. And then it came back. It was real tough. He passed away in August of 2019. And this kind of started a cycle for me where I was going through a whole lot and then I'd find these like super bright spots. And it was like this up and down kind of experience. And he passed, and then right in the middle of August, 4 years of work in mental health and how I conceptualized mental health and how I wanted to like bring my vision to how we bring care coordination, crisis, and all this stuff together was presented in San Diego by the County Board of Supervisors. And it was this like heart in my stomach experience and it just went amazing. And then I put my dog down at noon. It was just this like up and down and up and down. And it was so hard because it just felt like nothing could regulate the experience. And there's all these things outside of my control. So I got a pig. That's Hamlet and Piggy Smalls at the back there. Notorious P.I.G. He was quite great. And it was this bright spot that happened literally like within a few weeks after my nephew passed. So all this stuff up and down. And then I really got back into my woodworking and I started to like get in touch with myself about like the art that I wanted to create, the beauty that I wanted to find not only in the world around me, but the stuff I really wanted to make with my hands. And then my brother came to town. And I had this experience of really being seen, of really like sitting down and talking through the Crisis podcast. You should go download the latest episode. And feeling heard and feeling like, wow, like I can really express all of what I feel and not, then have this like vulnerability hangover. And it was this great experience. So then I got divorced. So divorced my wife of 9.5 years. Alcoholism took a terrible toll. And this was the first day after she left and my sons and I went to this hammock spot. All the fear. And Walker, there on the right, said, "This is us. This is all we need." And it was just like, damn, the next one. So I bought a new place because 3 days before Thanksgiving, my landlord was like, "You're evicted because I'm going to tear it down and build condos." So it was always this like dichotomy of an experience. And what I found is like, the closer I got to my why, so like whether I was woodworking or spending time with my kids, the less these like truly traumatic and crazy events started to really hit me. So that's Penny and I. I'm going to have fun. This is Penelope. Penelope is my English bulldog, and she likes long naps and short walks. And she was a gift from the foundation that my sister started for my nephew. To thank me for the work that I've done on his book, Gavin's Guide to Winning at Everything in Pediatric Cancer. It's on Amazon, I can link you later. And it was kind of this investment in myself. Like, I'm gonna have this dog, and like I've had dogs my whole life, but after Ellie died and all the other stuff, like I wasn't really ready for it. So then I lost Hamlet in a divorce. And it was okay. It was sad, I still get to see him. He still honks, has a very specific honk when he sees me, and it's really lovely. But it was sad, but it was much better. Like, I'd done the things I needed to do. I'd sandbagged positives and was really accepting where I was. And I started to create more. I was told as a kid that I wasn't really good at creative stuff. I wasn't really good at art. I wasn't really good at these things. That was just adults projecting their own shit on me. But I used to be a chef and I loved it. Like, why am I not doing this more? So I made sourdough, I think like everybody did. But I loved it. What I loved even more was giving it to people, building that community. And I found that the more of this I did, the happier my kids got. It's this weird thing. It's like you model the behavior you want them to live. And like, this is one of the few pictures of my son Anders with special needs on the right, of him really smiling and not having his awkward smile. Like, he felt really genuinely like a part of this picture. And then I surfed. Started surfing a lot. Elon talked about his obsession with Peloton. He has a code if you need it. I started surfing. I sat in my condo and I looked in the corner and I'd had a couple friends. One gave me a surfboard, one gave me a wetsuit, sitting in the corner. And I'm like, I feel like the universe is trying to tell me something. So between today and March 6th of this year, I counted up, I did 184 surf sessions every single day that I could. And then I really started to dive into my woodworking. And I really started to be like, I want to make beautiful things. And so this is all of the pieces I put together for my son's beds. I did 2 bed frames and put them together. And they love it. They're like, I had a bad dream, but I reached and I just felt like, I laser engraved their letters there in the corner and they're just like, I rub it, it just feels like your arms are around me, it's strong, and I'm like, you're gonna make me cry. And it was this beautiful thing. And I'd had all these plans when I moved in of all the furniture and stuff I wanted to make, and that the boys' room was gonna be last because they had beds. I'm like, after a while, I'm like, no, it's gonna be first. They get that foundation. And I got to this point where I'm like, there's an author, maybe it's Brene Brown, I'm not sure, but they talk about be in love with yourself. Be in love with who you are. Revel in the fact that everyone in here has amazing talents, amazing genius and brilliance, but love who you are and where you are. And a friend took this picture of me and was like, this is your James Bond picture. I'm like, yes, it is. And I just enjoy it. It just makes me happy. It's ridiculous and silly and all that stuff, but it made me really happy. So then I started to share with my kids. It's so weird. So I kept coming back to this. So I took Walker out surfing, and Walker is 9 years old, and he spent 6 months working in the soup and the whitewash, and then this was the day he paddled out by himself, caught his own waves, all the way out to the back line, and I was really fucking proud of him. And then Anders wants to work on woodworking, and he comes down in the shop every single time that he can, and he's not really good, but he's very good at just basic task. Here, this is him spraying this big walnut round I made for someone with air. And it just made him happy. I'm like, hey, if it makes you happy, man, just psh, all over as much as you can. And so this is me. I lived in Maine, and there's this phrase in Maine that says, you can't get there from here. And it's a Mainer phrase. It's all over the country now. But when I grew up in Maine, I lived there junior, senior year of high school. They had this phrase. And I had a friend take this picture of me at Sunset Cliffs in San Diego, and they realized, I think I am going to get there from here. I've got my wife, and I've got my kids, and I think it's going to, be bad and good, but I'm going to laugh along the way. Thank you.